Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and today we're going to fill your Switch for under $100. That means we're going to have a mixture of really good free games, some amazing budget titles, and one really robust demo. Unfortunately, what we're not going to see is Mario, Zelda games like this. Are they worth getting? Of course they are. They're just a little bit too much for this particular video. Alright, so let's start with the first free game. It's Fortnite. Yes, you've heard of it. You either love it, you hate it, somewhere in the middle. I'm sure you're aware of it. But it is free. It is on Switch. And I think even if you don't love it, it's worth getting just to have. It's the type of game where if you're with any friend, you can just sit down, play around a Fortnite, have a little fun together. A buddy of mine comes over to my place. We both play on our Switches. I will say the quality is a little bit worse on the Switch than some other systems. But to me, it's worth it to have it on the Switch, to have the portability, to have that flexibility. And also the people on the Switch are quite a bit worse. Now that's either going to be good or bad for you. It's bad if you're looking to have the best competition you can possibly have. But if you're like me, and you're actually not that good at Fortnite, and you're pretty new to it, and you just want to have fun and improve, yet not get rolled every single time, the Switch is actually a great place to pick up Fortnite. So go get it. It's the number one on the list. Go grab it. You'll be happy. The second game on the list is Enter the Gungeon. It comes in at only $14.99, and this is one of my very favorite games on the Switch. There was a point when this was all I would play. Every single day I'd fire up my Switch and I'd go, what should I play today? I know, Enter the Gungeon. It's a roguelike game. The levels are procedurally driven. There's a wide range of characters. There's all kinds of different weapons you can get. Oh, the mega chest. I don't even know what this weapon is, but it looks pretty cool. It's a watering can. So I am shooting water out of a watering can. This game is really fun. There's been quite a few updates. There was just recently a free update which did all kinds of stuff to the game. The game is regularly on sale. So while I say it's $14.99, if you're judicious, you'll be able to get it for less than $14.99. And if you are willing to go over to the Mexican eShop, you can get it for substantially less than that. I think I paid about $7.99 for my copy of Enter the Gungeon. Basically, with Enter the Gungeon, you got a game you can't go wrong. Almost infinite replayability. There's a two-player mode as well. It's not nearly as good as the one-player mode, but it's reasonable. Bottom line is, for only $14.99, you're going to love Enter the Gungeon. Trust me, go get it. The third game on our list is another gorgeous, amazing budget game, and that's Hollow Knight. If you haven't played Hollow Knight yet, you're really missing out. This game is only $14.99. It's a Metroidvania with amazing platforming. Everything about this game is just fantastic. It looks great. It plays great. It's really tough, so it takes quite a while to beat. I've been told about 40 hours. I'm 10 hours in. I don't feel like I'm anywhere. I don't feel like I'm anywhere close to the end. This is a game that for only $14.99, you just can't go wrong. You'll be spending a lot of time with this lovable little dude as he explores this area. I still don't know entirely what's going on. Again, I'm 10 hours in. The world is still a mystery to me. I can't recommend this game enough. You look anywhere on the internet, people will be talking about how amazing Hollow Knight is. Again, $14.99 is a bargain, and this definitely helps us fill our Switch. The fourth game I'm going to recommend today is Pokemon Quest. Pokemon Quest is currently the only Pokemon game on the Switch, and it's a fun game. It's a little time waster kind of game where you have this battery where you can only do 5 battles before you have to wait till it recharges. Your goal is basically to make an amazing lineup of Pokemon. I've beaten the game already. I did not put any money into the game. You can put money into the game. It'll give you, some bonuses. You'll make Pokemon faster. Everything will be a little faster and easier for you. But you don't have to do it. In just a couple of weeks, I beat the game without it. And the bottom line is, it's fun. If you like Pokemon, if you like collecting dudes, this will be a fun time for you. I will say, though, there's a complete lack of depth to this game. It's just, go find some awesome Pokemon, get a bulk up Pokemon, get some hit point up stones, and you're going to win. But it's a fun time nonetheless until you beat it. And then after that, It's up to you. Do you want to collect every single Pokemon in the game? If you do, there's quite a bit of content here. If you're not as excited to do that, there's not that much content. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go with the game. Will they add more content? Will it become more robust? But right now, I think it's a free game, 100% free. That is well worth the cost of nothing. It's a good time. I think you'll enjoy it. Go ahead and grab it. Our next game, Celeste, brings us to the most expensive game on the list at a whopping $19.99, and the only true platformer as well. But this game is quite the indie darling. Everyone seems to love it. I'm not a huge platformer fan, so I initially passed on it. But boy, the reviews for it have been so phenomenal. I had to try it. And they are certainly right. It is a great game, but it is a very challenging game. As you can see here, I'm wildly out of practice. But even when I was in practice, death was inevitable and a part of what I was going to be doing. But it's a really fun game. It's a really hard game, but it's worth it. There's actually all kinds of cool ways to turn on various assists to make it easier for you, to make it easier for your child, whoever needs a little assistance. For me, obviously. But I think this is a game that, for a platformer, there's Shovel Knight, which is also great. But I decided to choose only one, and I would go with Celeste. I would say Shovel Knight is great as well, but Celeste is my pick. It has a great story, tight platforming, lots of different assists you can turn on. You just can't go wrong with Celeste. Next game is Galak-Z. This is a really interesting, very strange game that I haven't quite gotten a handle on. It's like a robots, collecting, battling, free-to-play game. This is a game that I'm definitely looking to spend a little bit more time on, as so far I've quite enjoyed it. But I'm still really early in doing some of the tutorials still. Don't have a firm grasp on it. But it seems like a really fun game that I'm looking forward to spending some more time on. And so while we're looking to fill our Switch, this is one of the perfect candidates. And as you can see, it's one of these free-to-play games where there's counters and there's timers, and you can pay to move even faster. But it seems like the content is fun that I've played. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. The one downside I would say is it looks like you have to have an internet connection. I tried to play it on the airplane. That didn't work, so I'm thinking that's where we're at. But either way, if you're landed and you're on the internet, it's quite an interesting system. The combat is really crazy. Crazy, I mean by unique, in that you have thrusters and you don't want to crash into things, and then you aim with one button, you're thrusting with another. It feels challenging but not overwhelming. So I would definitely say go get Galak-Z as one of our free games. Why not? It's a fun game. It's free. Next up, we have the game that got me to buy the Switch. That's right. Golf Story is the reason I bought the Switch. I knew there were a couple of really good big-time games like Mario and Zelda on the Switch, but I also knew the Wii U had that as well and failed miserably. It was when I saw games like Golf Story that I thought, wow, this looks really interesting, and maybe the Switch is going to be really great. So what Golf Story is, it's our one RPG that we're going to have on this list, and it's an RPG where you play a little golf, but not too much. Don't worry. While it might look like it's a golf game, there's not a ton of golf that's happening. It's basically an RPG. Every now and then you will, as part of it, play golf, but other times you have to bounce balls off turtles into spots, or play frisbee golf and do all kinds of interesting things. Like any RPG, you're going to get better clubs that give you better stats. It's basically a really fun, charming RPG, and it comes in at only $14.99. One of my favorite things is the dialogue. Whenever you have dialogue, it rumbles to sort of match their dialogue, and the boxes will shift based on their attitudes. So it is quite a bit of fun. I can't recommend it enough. It's why I bought the Switch. Go get Golf Story. You're going to be happy. Next, we've got Pinball FX3. I've talked about this game quite a bit. and it's a free to play game in that there is one table you get for free, and then if you want you can go ahead and buy other tables. The reason why I recommend this game so highly is that this initial table is really fun actually. I had decided it was so fun I just wasn't going to buy any more tables, but then I got to a point where I was like, man, what if the other tables are just as good or even better? And so I bought some other tables, and you know what table I still play every single time I fire this game up? This table, the Sorcerer's Lair. So as a free game, if you are interested in pinball at all, you're going to be really happy you have this. Even if you're not a huge pinball fan, even if you just mildly like pinball, having a free pinball game on your Switch is well worth it. Go out, pick it up, you won't be disappointed. It has a lot of depth in this pinball game. There's all kinds of different things you're trying to do, locking balls. It's a good time, and I can't recommend it enough. Next on our list is Cat Quest. That's right, this is a game you've probably never heard of. It costs $12.99, and you are this lovable little cat who has to basically go around and try to smite everyone. You're the only person that can kill dragons, of course, because you're, a cat. What makes the game so fun is an action RPG. So it's an RPG like any other. You're trying to get power-ups, you're trying to get better skills, you're getting experience. Boom, I just leveled, in fact. But it's an action RPG. These can be a lot of fun, and this one especially is really cute. It's really charming. There's a lot of cat humor. I'll admit, I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person. Doesn't matter. I still found the humor to be really funny. The game is fun. It's not particularly deep, and it's not particularly long. So if you're looking for a really long adventure, then maybe this isn't for you. But if you're just looking for a lot of fun for only $12.99, you can't go wrong with Cat Quest. But man, this guy is whooping me. We've reached the halfway point, and the 10th game in our challenge to fill our Switch for under $100 is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is probably my daughter's very favorite Switch game. It's one of these farming, simulator, building kind of games, but what makes it so fun is the different strategies you can take. And I'm gonna talk about my daughter's strategy and my strategy to demonstrate this. So I play this game as a farmer. I get up and I tend my crops here and I pick them. Oh, that is not how you pick them. I pick them and then I take them into town. I sell them. They give me seeds, and my farm gets continually bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually I'm going to have more and more money, and I will have this massive farm that rakes in the cash. The way my daughter plays is, you just wander around and talk to people. And I was talking to her, I said, I don't understand, how do you have money? And she was like, why do you need money? You don't need money. I just talk to people, and then I find axes and give people axes. And they tell me good job, and they give me stuff. And I'm like, my mind is blowing up because I can't even fathom a world in a game where money is one of the things and you don't try to get all the money you can get. So that is what makes Stardew Valley, I think, so cool. Is that there's just all these different ways to play it. Do you want to be a farmer? Cool. Do you want to raise animals? Sure. Do you just want to be a wandering person who meets people and improves their relationships with them? You can do that too. So there is a lot of content here. I've known people to put hundreds of hours into this game because they become immersed in this world. And it's a cheap price at only $14.99. I think Stardew Valley is one of these games that is almost a must-buy on the Switch. I actually haven't played it that much, but I never regret the fact that I have bought it. It's an enjoyable game. Every time I fire it up, I'm like, yeah, this is a really fun game. Why don't I play it more? And then I'll get sucked into something like Octopath Traveler and forget all about Stardew Valley for a little while. Like right now as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, why don't I play this game more? Also, side note, I bought this on the Mexican eShop for substantially cheaper. So make sure you look there if that's something that you're looking to do. So go ahead, pick up Stardew Valley. You won't be disappointed. Alright, it's time to talk about Kitten Squad. Kitten Squad is a really interesting free game put out by PETA. So it clearly has an agenda, right? So like currently right now, I am looking to free all the dolphins. One of the fun things about this game, if you look, my kitten has a cowboy hat and glasses. That's because I have used my resources to purchase them. So my guy looks amazingly awesome. What's really fun about this game is you can play up to 4 people at once. So that's been a lot of fun. We've had a bunch of Switch nights where we all get together, mass chaos ensues, and we play some Kitten Squad. So I've had quite a bit of fun with it, especially for a free game. What's interesting about it is there are a whole different pile of weapons that you can grab. You get money to be able to buy your cowboy hats and other stuff. It plays kind of like a roguelike with specific missions that you're trying to accomplish. I believe each time they're procedurally generated. I could be wrong, but there's really not that much to be concerned with the procedural generations. Basically, you just go to the next room and defeat the enemy. So there's not a ton of depth here, but there's a story, there's all kinds of upgrades you can buy, you can play with up to 4 people. Those are the parts of it that I think are really fun, especially the multiple players part. By myself, whenever I play this game, I think, it's okay. I'm happy I got it, it's free. But whenever I have a bunch of people over and we're all going crazy, firing all the different weapons we've got, it gets really interesting really fast. Next up, I'm going to talk about the one demo that's on this list, and that is Puyo Puyo Tetris. And the reason that I include this is because it is so robust that I sometimes even forget that it is a demo. I think that, oh yeah, when did I buy Puyo Puyo Tetris? Oh wait, this is just a demo. Basically, if you like Tetris and you like to play by yourself or against a friend or against the computer, or the same is true with Puyo Puyo, here you go. It's a complete Tetris game. I've played this many times against my wife. We grew up in an era where we would play Tetris against each other for fun on a Friday night and talk smack to each other. Doesn't happen quite as often anymore, but it's still a good time to bust out some Tetris every now and then. And this version is really slick. I don't know actually what the non-free version adds. I've heard it's actually a lot. It must be, because they sure give you a lot for free, so much so that there hasn't even been one moment where I've thought, I should really buy it, because there's not enough here. There is definitely enough here. Go ahead and grab Puyo Puyo Tetris. To me, this is the one game you 100% should have, because it's free, it's Tetris. You're always going to find someone to play in Tetris. Unless you're terrible, then it's not as fun, because you don't want to get whooped by that friend that you challenge to play Tetris. I still have bad memories about challenging my friend's girlfriend to Dr. Mario. She smack-talked me for a long time afterwards. So be careful, but enjoy Puyo Puyo Tetris. It's free, and it's great. Next up is one of my very favorite party games on the Switch, and that is Astro Bears. I know, you don't have to tell me. It sounds absurd, but it's actually a lot of fun. The single player mode, I don't think is all that fun. Maybe you'll like it. The multiplayer mode is where it's at. Right now, it doesn't look that chaotic and crazy, but when you have 2 to 4 different bears roaming around, you're going to have to be jumping over each other's lines. The whole world will quickly be full of, I don't know, what is this that's coming out of these bears? We'll call it Astro Bear juice. But it is quite a bit of fun. I will say I've had mixed results. I've had big groups of people. I've had 8 people where we're cycling in, winner stays on, everyone's having a blast. I have another friend that hates Astro Bears, and every time I mention it, he quivers. But I personally find Astro Bears to be really fun. Shockingly, for a game like this, there are different bears with different stats even. You want a super fast bear? You're going to want to be the panda. Do you want to be a bear that can hang out in the air forever with his jetpack? You want Igor, the polar bear. Bottom line is, this is a really fun local co-op game. It does not go online. So if you don't have friends to play it with, maybe you pass on it. But it's only $5, and I got it on sale for $1. I've seen that several times. At $1, You have to buy this game. Even at $5, it is well worth it, and you'll have a lot of fun with Astro Bears. Easily best astronaut bear game I've ever played. Next up is another Metroidvania game and another ultra budget game. This is another $5 game. It's Xeno Drifter. Xeno Drifter is a lot of fun. It plays very similarly to, Metroidvanias that you're used to. You're going to get power-ups as time goes on. You're going to be able to do things you couldn't do. As you notice, I have a ship here, a little underwater cruiser. You don't start with that. And you're basically just going along, trying to beat the bosses. The only downside, and not too shocking for a $5 game, is that it's short. That's the only complaint I can give this game. It is really polished. It is really fun. You will definitely enjoy it. You will be sad when your time is up, and that's Xeno Drifter. Have fun with it. Typical Metroidvania. Super fun. Kamiko is another one of these ultra budget games for the Switch that is a lot of fun. It is an ARPG. It looks a lot like Zelda. It's got that top-down feel. You're solving puzzles. There are 3 characters to choose from. This particular one shoots arrows, which is pretty cool. But I had a lot of fun with the game. The one complaint, of course, with a game that costs $5 is it's pretty short. But I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. It's like if you want just a little quick game, maybe in between a game, you're waiting for a game to come out that you haven't gotten yet. This might be the perfect thing. So like here's an example of a puzzle. You grab this key. I don't know, does it go in here? Nope, doesn't go in here. So I gotta find a place to put this key, and then I'll be able to move on. But that's the bottom line with this game. It's basically a short game, but it is a lot of fun. It's an ARPG, and it really reminds me a lot of Zelda when I play this game. Whenever I play it, I get one of those little warm feelings inside of, I'm back on my NES, playing Zelda, having a great time, and you know what? It only costs $5. Well worth it in my book. As we near the end of this list, I bring you Earth Wars, the hack and slash game for only $5 that is on everyone's list of best budget games, rightfully so. Really smooth, really fun, really good hack and slash for only $5. You get all these resources to upgrade your character. There's all kinds of different things you can do. I have not spent much time on this game. I believe I got this game right as I got Enter the Gungeon, and that game just completely took over all my Switch time. But this is definitely a game that's well worth $5. You're going to play this and go, really? This is only a $5 game? Wow. So definitely get this. And that is actually going to wrap up our paid games on the list. But there are several more free games that are worth grabbing that will take us to our 19. And I think you won't be surprised by the next one. Next up is Paladins, the first-person shooter Overwatch-style game. Some have gone so far as to call it an Overwatch clone. That's definitely not true. There's all kinds of elements that differentiate it from it. But this is a game that I was so excited about. I actually bought the Founders Pack so I could play it early and have access to all the characters. I will say the hilarious thing is, I have barely put any time into it. I was planning to put so much time into this game, and it just didn't happen. Octopath Traveler completely took over my Switch. Fortnite filled in those gaps when I wasn't playing Octopath Traveler, and Paladins has sort of sat here as one of these games that I'm really excited to play and just haven't put that much time into. Now, if you're worried, like, oh, it's just an Overwatch clone, there's no Overwatch on the system. So even if it was just an Overwatch clone, you would probably be pretty happy to have Overwatch on your Switch. It's not coming. This game is free, so I think it is well worth playing. I think you will be happy to pick up Paladins for free. There's absolutely no reason not to pick it up. Go grab it. Now you have a first-person shooter on your system. You're going to have a great time with it. The second to last game I'm going to talk about today is Fallout Shelter. This is another one of those free-to-play games with timers. You're basically trying to build your shelter, improve it, get people in there. It's kind of a city builder only underground shelter game. It looks like it's quite a bit of fun. I have spent 0 time with this game. I just haven't had a chance to. But if you like these types of builder games, you are a fan of the Fallout series, you can't go wrong with this as a free game for your system. Again, you don't have to spend any money on it just because it's free to play. Resist the urge. Just play for free and have a fun time. Here we wrap up the list. The 19th game for under $100 is Dawn of Breakers. I have played almost 0 with this game. It seems like a fun game. You're basically doing button mashing, battling, all kinds of different attacks. I'm still in the tutorial, so they're teaching me all these different attacks. There seems to be a story. It has sort of the typical free-to-play gotcha mechanics where there's timers if you want to do various quests, things like that. I'm skipping the story so we can actually see what the combat is like. Right, so there's this interesting board where you do a spin and then your guy moves, and then when you get to the end, then you do a big battle. It seems interesting. It's free, especially if you like sort of this anime style game. If you like button mashing games, and it's, you know, it feels to me kind of like in the Earth Wars vein. It seems like a fun game, and in the time I have spent with it, I've enjoyed it. But I haven't been compelled to want to play a ton of it. But if we're looking to fill our Switch with free and budget games, then we're looking at a pretty good option here with Dawn of Breakers. Alright, well that wraps it up. That is 19 games for under $100. If you use the Mexican eShop, you're looking at more like $85 for 19 games. You really can't go wrong. We've got first-person shooters, we've got Metroidvanias, we've got platformers, we've got roguelites, we've got free-to-play gotcha collector mechanic games, we've got RPGs, we've got co-op games, we've got basically everything. For less than $100, you can fill your Switch with awesome games. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Tiny Grimes Games.